In this video, I'm going to prove to you that it's possible that you can find a relationship. Maybe you're thinking that everyone just wants hookups, monogamy's dead, all these guys are playing games, nobody wants to commit, so on and so forth. And there is some truth to that. That's totally valid, but I want to prove to you that you can find a relationship, even though, you've gone to therapy and you've worked on yourself and you're healing and all these things, and these other guys aren't. It's still possible to find a relationship without sacrificing your values, and I'm going to explain to you how and why that's possible today. So let's see. The first thing I want to say is there is some validity to your experience. So, for example, this dating coach and author of How to Not Die Alone, her name is Logan Yuri. And she says that in terms of attachment styles that you might be familiar with, like 50% of the population is secure, and then I think 25% is anxious, and then the other remaining is the other two that are there. But that's of the general population. But out of the dating pool, it's actually more people are anxiously attached. And she doesn't even factor in being gay. So if you're like seeing that, it is true. Like there are a lot of people that have anxious attachment, and that's okay. You might be one of them. That's okay. And she mentions in her book that people that are secure tend to stay in relationships. That they're good at relationships and they tend to stay in them. So I just want you to know that there is some validity to what you're experiencing. At the same time, I want to teach you a way of thinking, a model that will be quite helpful. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen now, and we'll just pull this up. Okay. So this is called spiral dynamics. And this is a psychological model that describes the different stages of psychological development. Now, full disclaimer, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a physician, I'm simply a dating coach. And this is my interpretation of spiral dynamics. This is basically like how I think of it and what's helpful for me. And I'm just going to share that with you very casually. I will encourage you to do your own research and all of that. This is just Andrew's perspective. Okay, so spiral dynamics basically lays out the different stages that the human brain can go through. And so one of the first stages is called purple. And so stage purple is basically tribal. And so I think of Pocahontas, I think of the different tribes that still exist today in different parts of the world, maybe the Amazon, different parts, I'm not quite sure. But they're community based. They live in groups. They believe in superstition, a little bit magical, self-sacrifice. They value ritual and ceremony, and they value wisdom of the elders, so on and so forth. Okay. After this stage, and I promise I'll make all this make sense in a minute and apply it to dating, but just we got to go big picture for a minute, okay? Um, Stage red, these folks basically, in my mind, they value power and control. That's it. And it's not bad. It's not bad to value control and power, but it can get a little bit unhealthy potentially, but they value passion. They value passion. And in my eyes, they can be a little bit emotionally reactive. And they value dominance and strength and revenge, and it's the warrior mindset, and they value respect. And that's not bad, right? Like we definitely want people who are warriors to value those things. But I just think of guys that are just fighting out of control. Like, I'm rewatching Keeping Up with the Kardashians and like Scott Disick, like the earlier parts when he was growing up and he was younger, in the earlier uh, episodes. If he was just very emotionally reactive and fighting, and you got to respect me. Like I saw, you don't have to have seen it, but there was an episode where he wanted some liquor and the waiter cut him off, and Scott literally shoved $100 bill in the guy's throat. Like he felt disrespected. That is so stage red. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Sorry, tangent. Okay, so what happens after stage red is we can't have like all just craziness, okay? We need to have some law and order. And this is where the mind goes, okay, we need some law and order. This is stage blue. In stage blue, values tradition. It's very value oriented. And it does it's like, okay, we need law and order. That's good, that's evil. That's only good, that's only evil. They don't leave a lot of room for gray area nuance. Um, It can be religious, potentially. They do value justice and security and honor and loyalty and all of these things. And I'm just going to go through all of these first, and then I'll come back and give my commentary. Okay, then we have stage orange. And stage orange is so think about it this way. So stage blue, like if you grew up in a family that's stage blue, like a lot of us did, there isn't a lot of room for us to be ourselves. And we might want to break away from that. And so what happens is we reach stage orange. This is our personal success. We want to be successful. We want to start our businesses. We want to excel in our careers. We want to focus on our own personal development and success. We want achievement and materialism, and we want to buy things that we own, and we want to buy our homes and all these things. Maybe we value entrepreneurship, so on and so forth. We value self-help and confidence, and we're just trying to be better. And that's stage orange. We're just trying to be better. And like culturally and socially and society-wise, we just are trying to optimize. Like we don't want any wasted time in the business workplace. We want optimization. We want timers and this and that. And we only do we only have what's that word? Ergonomic. Like with your chairs, we only want certain chairs, not for your comfort, but like to optimize success. And we want, all that stuff for the sake of success. Okay, but the problem is if we focus on stage orange too much, it's also not healthy. We can sacrifice um, our love life, we can sacrifice our health. So relationships, health, and the planet for in the name of success. That can be a problem for some people. And when that happens, they wake up and they move into stage green. And so stage green is a little bit more, it's not necessarily all about wellness, but it does value well-being a bit more. And stage green is open-minded. They do, state environmentalism definitely falls under stage green, save the planet. All are welcome here. That's a very stage green thing to say. They do value love and empathy and equality and human well-being and recycling and sustainability and all of that. Okay. Uh, then after stage green, we get into stage yellow. And stage yellow still values those things per se, but it's very zoomed out. So it's not as simple for a stage yellow person. It's not as simple as like this cause is important. It's like, of course, that cause is important, but this cause is also important. This person, this group of people doesn't like this group of people. Like it's very zoomed out and it involves complexity. Like some of these, systems that the world has is very complex. And that's typically stage yellow. So systems thinking, nuance, complexity, understanding, holism, root cause analysis. They value education and research, of course. All of that. This guy here, you might recognize him. That's Abraham Maslow. That's the guy that created Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that little triangle. So very clearly, nuanced and big picture thinker, him. Okay, after stage yellow, this stage is quite advanced. This stage is stage turquoise. And stage turquoise is basically stage turquoise people let go of belief. Yeah, they start to kind of let things like fall away. So like, is it bad to want something? Like that's a belief. It's bad to want something. Like, is it bad that somebody stole from somebody else? Most people would be like, of course. Stage blue would be like, lock them up, of course it is. But stage green might not as much, but stage turquoise is like, well, that's a concept. Bad is a concept. So stage turquoise is very just big picture, um, likes to kind of, it's just spirituality, really. You might recognize some of these folks. Okay. I know that was a lot. I'll let you digest that. This is called spiral dynamics. I encourage you to do your own research. This was just my interpretation of it. So, Andrew, what does it have to do with dating, and how is that proof that I'm going to find a relationship? Well, you are at some of these stages, okay? And so are other people. So the dating pool, in some ways, is made up of all these people. Right? As much as you have worked on yourself and as much as I have worked on myself and as spiritual as I claim to be and all these things, I'm not the only person who knows about Byron Katie and Deepak Chopra and the Dalai Lama and Eckhart Tolle. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there are people in every single stage. And one of the reasons you might have a challenge with dating is because most of the US, I don't know if it's most of the world, I cannot recall, but most of the US is spiral dynamic stage orange. That is where we are at in the US. We value consumer culture. We value the Instagram influencer and the celebrities and this and that and all blah, right? And and we value image a lot because we don't understand like these folks, especially these folks, understand what thoughts are. This is where we're getting a little bit advanced. They understand what thoughts are and emotions and all that. These folks do not. So that's why they pursue a lot of external things, and you're picking up on that. And that's one reason why you're annoyed with gay dating is because um, we don't always understand thoughts and emotions. And you might understand thoughts and emotions if you've gone through therapy and stuff, and you're starting to feel like icky with this. Well, keep in mind that you're probably stage green or whatever. But all I'm trying to say is if you are a little bit of stage green and stage turquoise and maybe yellow, there are other people that are too, statistically speaking, probability wise. Right? So, for example, I'll be honest with you. I'll be very honest with you of where I am. I do value a little bit of blue because to me, it does bring me a little bit of security. Like I do like the structure with blue, but I'm not blue. You're not just one stage. Chances are you're like a whole bunch. So I do value a little bit of blue. I value a little bit of orange, not a ton. I can see the unhealthy effects of it, but I do, of course, I have an iPhone here, I have a Mac, right? I am definitely green. I am a little bit yellow, and I am a little bit turquoise. That means the guy I date probably needs to be some of that too, like green, turquoise, and the guy I am with is. Okay, so I'm hopefully that makes sense. And again, the takeaway for you is there are people who are like you. You cannot argue with it. Okay? And so now the key is how do I find people like me? That's the only question you have. How do I find people with my similar values? One thing you can do is you can learn the boyfriend formula. That is the framework that I created to help my clients find a long-term relationship. And the boyfriend formula is all about making sure we have a supportive mindset, learning modern gay dating skills and building connections so you can find a real relationship with somebody who has similar values as you, somebody like you. So I want you to understand that yes, there are people out there that are like you. That's the first thing you have to believe. You have to believe me. If you don't, work on that, heal that part. After you realize that and you're like, okay, well, shit, how do I find them? That's where I come in. That's where you have to learn dating. So if that's something you want help with and you want to learn how to find people like you so you can find a life partner, click the link below and book a free call. I'd love to meet you and I'd love to hear about your current situation, what you've tried in dating, how it's gone, and I can give you some personalized tips and pointers to help you with that. So that'll be your next step. I hope that was helpful and I will talk to you soon.